Right,
Did I have to write to you?
That's it.
Did I have to write to you to pay
Excuse me,
for
off the airport, please. Thank you.
It's showtime for a stripper.
What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm a dancer.
Oh, Brad.
Makes me a bit hot and bothered.
And it's crunch time for Leo.
Am I orange enough today? I'm scared.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away.
It's the height of the holiday season, and for Easyjet, it's the busiest time of the year. Every day, over 120 Easyjet planes fly off for sunnier climes. But with so many flights, there are bound to be problems.
Can't you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but your flight went 2 hours earlier.
Huh? Yeah, but they've changed it.
To 7:30.
Yes.
Mr. Ntaki is heading to Amsterdam for the weekend. Easyjet has rescheduled his flight from 5 p.m. to 7:30, but he's still arrived 10 minutes too late to check in.
Where's the Amsterdam, sir?
Sorry?
Please?
Do you want to go on the Amsterdam flight?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to get you on there or not. I'll try, but I doubt it very much. Okay, have a quick word, okay?
There's two of us.
I'll try and get you on tomorrow morning if I can't get you on tonight, it's okay?
Tomorrow morning? I need to get there today. They've changed our flight. I wasn't around because of work. And now I've got to pick up the missus from London. And basically they're telling me I'm late.
And Lisa has some more bad news.
Why not?
Because the aircraft's boarding now, can't get you on. You have to go tomorrow morning at 6:30.
That's not good for me.
I can't do anything else. You should have been there. The flight should have gone at 5:30.
Yeah, but then you people can't just change people's itinerary
Yeah,
and
but
then
you
write
wasn't
to
here
them.
at 5:30.
It doesn't matter. The fact is you shouldn't change people and just write a letter.
Do you want to go tomorrow morning at 6:30?
Right? You can't just change people's flight and write a letter to them.
Yeah, but you're...
Why do you think I booked 5:30?
Yeah, but you haven't...
It doesn't matter. The fact is, the original booking, we had a choice of times. We had yes, because I knew I'll get stuck in traffic coming at that time. That is why I booked at 5 o'clock.
Okay, I'll give you the choice to go tomorrow morning. I can't do any more for you.
Mr. Ntaki's flight is fueled and ready to go, but he's still stranded at Sales. Passenger services agent Leo Jones also fears he's going nowhere. He's been working for Easyjet for 10 months and wants more of a challenge. A supervisor position has become available, and Leo is one of 6 going for the job. It's not his first attempt.
And what I found last time, it wasn't on what you'd done before at work, it wasn't on your qualifications, it was done on how you performed, actually on the day of the interview. So that's pretty nerve-wracking.
If he doesn't get it, he's contemplating moving abroad.
I know that either way, I'm going to be winning. I'm going to be doing something that I want to do, whether that be moving to Menorca or proving my career here. I do hope very much that I do get it. I was confident last time, you see, when it all went a bit peaked on.
Meanwhile, back at Sales, Mr. Ntaki is still not happy.
That's why I booked an earlier flight, because I knew I'll be delayed if I come at that time.
7, sir.
It's 7:10 and I come in from London. You know the traffic on the motorway?
Why have you turned up for a 7:30 flight at 7:10?
Because if it was, that's why I booked an earlier flight, because I knew I was in Luton at that time.
Do not shout at me. He was transferred onto the 19:25 flight, which is the 7:30 flight, but he didn't turn up till 7:10 for that flight anyway, so he's missed that as well. So that's probably why he's not happy, because the fact he's missed that one as well. Yeah.
Mary, the supervisor, tries to help, but again finds herself right in the firing line.
That should have been going at 5 o'clock has been rescheduled for 3 months.
3 months?
Yes, sir.
I will tell you you're lying. You know when I booked the flight?
Excuse me.
You know when I booked this flight?
I don't care when you booked the flight, sir.
I booked the flight only 2 weeks ago. So how can you tell me the flight's been rescheduled 3 months? Booked this itinerary 2 weeks ago, but she tells me it's been changed 3 months ago. I don't like people lying about things. If they be honest, then yeah. But she, for instance, don't know her job.
When he booked it on the internet, he'd booked it for the 17:30 flight, but unfortunately by the time he'd booked it to the time like today, Amsterdam have told us no, you can't have that slot time, so we've had to cancel those flights. So which then, as soon as they told us, we have sent letters out to people, giving them at least 2 weeks' notice.
But Mr. Ntaki is not taking no for an answer.
Excuse me, can I have my money back?
No, you can't say, can you join the queue, please?
She was seeing me. I want my money.
Can you join the queue,
I want my
please?
money now.
Can you join the
Because
queue?
you people are very rude. You can't just write a letter. I want my money.
Can you join the queue, please?
I want my money. Just give me my money, let me go and book it on a different airline so I can go today.
For now, it seems Mr. Antaki is going nowhere. Meanwhile, at the Malaga check-in, heads are turning. Male strip group, the Dream Boys, are flying to Spain for a calendar shoot, and they're causing a bit of a stir.
Excuse me, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm a dancer.
Show
For the
me.
Dream Boys. Do you want us to show you?
There you go.
Oh, Brad. No.
Makes me a bit hot and bothered.
Will check-in assistant Fiona Gatt succumb to their charms?
Just some security questions.
Hey, hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You are?
Fiona.
Hi, Fiona. How are you doing?
I'm fine. What's your
I'm
name?
Richard, and I'm one of the Dream Boys.
I went out with a stripper before, and never again. Never again.
With the flight running on time, it's a good start for the Dream Boys. But with the shoot on a tight schedule, they'll be up against it when they get to Spain.
Seats down the front of the aircraft. Hiya. Hello.
Excuse me, sir. Right. You've obviously missed
Back in the
this flight.
terminal, it's showdown time. Alan Derbyshire, the airport duty manager, has been called in to deal with Mr. Antaki, who's refusing to accept he can't have an immediate refund.
This is what I do not like.
Well, I'm sorry.
You take the money immediately,
No.
but you can't give it back.
You arrived for the 7:30 flight too late. And that's the bottom line. If you had arrived before 7 o'clock at the check-in desk, you would have now been on the 7:30 flight.
No.
Because you obviously were not informed.
When I book a flight, yeah? When I book a flight, I expect to go on that time. I don't care
Yeah.
whether you postpone it to earlier, later. I expect to get on that flight.
Right.
And if I don't, because if you look at my application, because I know I don't stay home, right? I gave my mobile number because I know
No,
I have my mobile
sir,
number with me 24 hours.
The bottom line is, that is it. You have turned up too late for
okay,
your flight.
and I say-
There's
I
nothing
understand.
more we can do for you.
I want my money.
You're going to have to write to customer services.
Why should I write to customer service? I didn't have to write to you to
if
pay
you'd have
for
been
it.
here on time, so you'd have been
I
on the
didn't have to
airplane.
write to you to pay for it.
If you'd have been here on time...
I didn't have to write to you to pay.
Yeah.
Now you're
Are you
pissing
gonna
me
say
off.
that all
I didn't have to write to you
Right.
to pay for it, did
Finished.
I?
Right
Did
to
I have to
customer
write to
services,
you?
That's it.
Did I have to write to
Can
you
you
to
just
pay
go
for
off
it?
the airport, please? Thank you.
Huh? Did I have to write to you to pay for it? Did I have to write to you to
leave
pay
the
for it?
airport, sir.
Did I write to you to pay for it?
Pushed to the limits, Alan
So why
loses
do
his
I have to write
patience.
to you to get my own money?
Because
What
you were
is
too
mine?
late for the flight. That's
Yes,
why.
and so I don't want
That's
to go
your
anymore.
fault. Your fault.
Yeah, but I don't
not
want to
ours.
go no more.
Fine. So you've got to write to get
So
your
give
money
me
back.
my money.
I can't.
Why should I write for
Would
my
you
own money?
please leave the airport?
It's not your money.
Would you-
It's not your money.
Would you
Is it your
please
money?
leave the airport?
Why do you have to write? Why do I have to write?
Call the police, can you?
Why do I have to write?
Just call the police, please.
Oh, okay. Lovely.
Mr. Antaki admits defeat.
He was informed of the change of flight. He admitted he'd seen the letter, so he's not really got an excuse. He was late for the flight. There's nothing we could do for him.
It's crunch time for Leo. He's off for his interview for the supervisor job.
I feel much more nervous this time than last time. I don't know why, probably because there's so much more counting on it with this job and everything else that's happening as well at the moment in my life, with where I want to be, where I want to travel to in my career. Am I orange enough today? I'm scared.
At 30,000 feet, the Dream Boys waste no time making new friends.
Nice to meet you.
You and the dream boat.
I am, yes.
Just look at that for muscles. That's how I feel at that.
Well, you know,
They're quite small, aren't they, really? I think I'm nearly there. I'm handsome. There's some muscle. I feel that for muscle. How do you keep it fit? Do you do a lot of training?
I do, yeah. We do a lot of dancing, obviously, and working out like 3 or 4 times a week, so yeah. But I enjoy it, do you know what I mean? It's all work.
That's it. So you're the only one not wearing the t-shirts. Are you the leader?
I was earlier, but I had to take mine off, and I got a bit bored of the t-shirt, so you know.
Well, you can see the muscles much better.
I was hoping she'd meet a lawyer or a doctor, but maybe a dream boy will do.
You complete this trip? Everything on?
No, just down to boxer shorts or a G-string. It's very tame, you know. It's just, so like, you know, like you say, it's harmless fun for the ladies. Just have a good night out.
Back on the ground, Leo emerges from his job interview, and he's also hoping he's made a good impression.
I feel quite confident about that. Answered all the questions. I thought it was going to be so much harder. The hardest thing were the questions on the what have you done before, In this situation, how would you cope with 2 staff arguing? What would you do if you're coming on shift and there was no roster checks done? Give me an example of the different scenarios. But it was better than I thought it was. It took me about 10 minutes to relax. Then after that, I just couldn't stop talking.
Not a pleasure.
Still to come, a dispute in the terminal.
It's a racket. It's blackmail, this is.
A crisis by the pool.
No, I want to wear these, but they're not having it. They think this is much more in vogue.
And suspense for Leo.
I just want to know the answer.
Each year, Easyjet carries 500,000 children. But there can be complications, as one family is about to find out.
Every airline has a different policy, and it does state on the terms and conditions when you booked on the internet that we wouldn't accept them when they arrived here. A 14-year-old cannot take responsibility for somebody under that.
What are the ages of the children?
It does state that in the terms and conditions on the internet.
The Martinellis have booked their daughter and a family friend on a flight to Belfast. But at 13, the friend is too young to fly without an adult.
I'll have a look at the flights for you.
Supervisor Jana Wyatt can't let the 14-year-old take the responsibility.
My husband's quite happy to fly out, and if you can get a plane back, if you'll pay for the seats, because we
can't pay for the seats.
This is a no-win situation, isn't it?
It does state on the internet before you booked that this would happen.
This is just pathetic.
It's...
Well, are you prepared to pay for the ticket? Because I'm not paying for the damn ticket.
No. Let me ring reservations and...
I mean, this is a money-making exercise, isn't it? You want somebody to go and escort someone to come back again, and who pays for the ticket, for the extra ticket? I must pay for it. No.
The 14-year-old's okay to travel, but she can't take responsibility for the 13-year-old. She has to be 16. So they came to check in. It was booked over the internet, and obviously they hadn't read the terms and conditions. It does state in there that they can't travel.
This is a rip-off.
200 miles away in Liverpool, Madrid-bound flight EZ771 has returned to base after just 10 minutes in the air. Angus Troop, Easyjet airport manager, and Andy Redman, head of operations, are dealing with the situation.
Well, Yankee Delta that departed very recently has not been able to pressurise the cabin.
After takeoff, the cabin wouldn't seal properly, meaning at high altitude, the air would have been too thin for the passengers to breathe.
It's not an easy fix, so we'll have to take the passengers off. There's an aircraft coming up from Luton very shortly to take the passengers out, and then we have to move it into the hangar and hopefully fix it as soon as possible.
We disembarked the passengers from that. We just went up and advised them when we arrived there, make sure they knew that there's a new aircraft coming up. The standby aircraft from Luton will be here, giving them a new estimated departure time of 3 o'clock. And most of them are fairly happy now, obviously, been through what they've been through, but they're fairly happy with what's happening.
But inside the terminal, some of the passengers aren't quite so relaxed.
It was really nerve-wracking, really. They told us that the air conditioner had broken down on the plane and that there was another technical problem and that we'd have to return to Liverpool and that we'd be landing in 15 minutes. And 25 minutes later, still hadn't landed. Panic sort of starts to strike a bit.
And when the belt signs never went off, I knew there was a problem. I was saying to her, he's not going in a straight line. Which he wasn't, because he was circling to get rid of fuel so he could land.
But it was quite nerve-wracking, really, especially when you don't like flying.
Supervisor Leanne Chung has got some more bad news for the passengers.
We were told on board that there was going to be a departure at 3 o'clock, but the aircraft couldn't get a slot out of Luton, so it's going to be slightly later. But it should be leaving about 25 to 4.
No, I'm not very happy. I was so excited. It's our second honeymoon. We've been married 10 years tomorrow, and now I'm not going anywhere. We went up for about 10 minutes, flying to Madrid, but the air conditioning wasn't working, so we've now landed. So now we're sat here, twiddling our thumbs. We're only going away for 3 days, so in 10 years, I've left the kids for 1 night. So I'm just hoping that we get back into the air soon.
At Luton, Jana is trying to find a compromise for the Martinellis.
Okay, hang on just a second. Dave, can you include one male on your ticket?
Suggesting that I should go with them, well, at least one of them, the youngest one, over to Belfast, which I should have done in any case. So I have to pay for the ticket to go across to Belfast and, come back merrily the same day. What is tomorrow morning? I'm off to France at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I can sell you a seat for £100.
Oh, that's very reasonable.
That's the cheapest that we can go.
That's a great.
That's
That's a
£50
great offer.
each way.
I've already had to pay another £140 on top of the original one.
Fine. Whenever you sign a contract, do you not read it before you sign it?
I've dealt with many contracts and contractors. It's never fair on either party, and there is always a compromise somewhere. And my compromise
which is what I'm trying to do. I cannot give you a seat free.
So how are we going to get back from Ireland though to England? Who's going to travel with us then?
Somebody will need to.
That's another ticket for some rip-off.
Or travel
Absolute
here with them.
thieves.
Realising he has no option, Mr. Martinelli pays the £100.
Here we are, sir. Go straight through to gate 11, please.
Gate 11. Bye.
Bye, have a lovely holiday.
I'll send you a postcard, eh?
At Liverpool, the replacement plane for the delayed Madrid passengers has finally arrived from Luton.
For the Easyjet passengers travelling on flight EZY771 to Madrid, so please make your way to the seating area by gate number 4.
It took longer to get up from Luton than we expected. They had a fueling problem, I think, there. We're going to have to refuel it here. I think they launched it in Luton without waiting for the fuel to delay any longer, so...
Right. So
it didn't quite go according to plan, but we're not far off.
Good luck next time, eh?
Yeah.
Nearly 4 hours behind schedule, the passengers are off to Madrid.
So I know it's an hour later than we hoped it would be, but an aircraft off time is always difficult to deal with, but I'd have liked to have done it better than that.
It's second time lucky for Madrid flight EZ771. But will it be second time lucky for Leo?
Won't be a second.
Jane Bolton, now a dispatcher, used to be a supervisor. She knows just what it takes to do the job.
Leo knows about the job now, and I have to say, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, Leo is absolutely fantastic with the passengers, especially in disruption situations, and that is really what you need, is someone to take charge, calm things down, sort everyone out. So yeah, Ryan, I really hope you get it. I think it'd be fantastic.
I've been stressed out about it. I think on the surface I've been all right, but deep down I'm pretty worried about it, really.
Jane shows him the secret of how to keep calm under pressure.
What's this
To de-stress you, my dear.
I feel like I'm shaking a bit when I'm writing as well. I keep on having this dream. I'm laying... like... I'm laying there and suddenly I wake up and I think there's loads of people watching me and I can see these different faces and I don't know who the faces are.
Passengers.
And I think that's what it is. And they're all trying to chase me over the garden front.
That's just probably worrying about, you know, getting the job.
I'll give you a call in a week,
yeah, what time you want to? I might, because I'm finishing at 5, so I've got to put through anyway.
About 9:30.
Oh, I'll see you on the way through then.
See you later, mate.
Right,
Have
see you
fun.
later.
The Dream Boys have arrived in Malaga, and it's the day of the calendar photo shoot. Already, things aren't going to plan.
Oh boy, oh boy.
A dispute has blown up in the ranks.
Would you prefer me wearing this?
Look, we're not interested in what you've got to say, Adrian. You either do the shoot or you don't.
Team leader Richard is not impressed with Adrian's attitude.
It's really important that we all work together as a team. So, you know, we don't need no prima donnas saying, I want to wear this. I think this looks better. We need guys to pull together and work hard, you know? Because I know what you think looks good, and he'll have to, well, he's a photographer, and at the end of the day, at great expense, we've got him over here to do this for us. And it's, you know, very important that he's happy. He's been told he's going to wear them shorts, and that's it.
I want to wear these, but they're not having it. They think this is much more in vogue. But, I mean, what do they know?
You know, I'm a little bit tired of this. I don't need this.
Let's just have a straw poll here. Right.
Adrian isn't happy.
Nobody really knows what they're doing. Nobody's really got an artistic direction. They wanted me to dress in a G-string. I gotta be honest, what woman finds a guy wearing a G-string desirable?
With tempers running high, will they get all the pictures they need? Back at Luton, for Leo, the waiting is finally over. He's been summoned to be given the result of his interview. The next few minutes will decide if he stays at Easyjet.
It's coming up now to 3 o'clock. And that's when I'm finding out if I've been successful in getting the job. The anxiety is now at its peak. And it's getting to the stage where I just want to know, I want to know the answer, because it is really important for me. So I'm really hoping that I do get it.
The Dream Boys have moved to a beach location, and things are starting to look up. This time, there's not a G-string in sight.
shooting here? What is the theme here?
We're shooting the officers' outfits in the sea.
What size is this shirt?
It all comes together perfectly. The sun, the sand, and the sea. At last, it's the perfect calendar shot.
Nice shot. Very
well
good.
done, it's a wrap. Thank you, great.
And there's good news for Leo.
I got the job. I'm emotional. Oh, God. Superb. I'm really excited now. I didn't think I had it at all. She said she'd come out streets ahead. Well done, you got my job.
Mr. Ntaki eventually calmed down enough to fly with Easyjet the next day. Mr. Martinelli delivered the girls to Belfast and managed to make his own flight the following morning. And the Dream Boys calendar is still in production. Staff face their customers.
This is absolutely ludicrous.
But you're not on time, you're not leaving on time.
Passengers mix it with the stars. And businessmen go mad in Spain.